Hey everyone, it's your boy Matt here. It's currently the 25th of December 2025. I think this is Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. This is a personal update. Uh, I'm not thinking of Christmas things like those normal kind of relationships with family and that kind of thing is something which is so foreign to me now that it's just not something I associate with. Um, like, my nervous system is completely fucked up as a result of the abuses that I've experienced. And I do very well to function at the level that I am functioning at. I think because I have such well developed coping mechanisms. And I mean that on, it looks like I'm just a mess because I drink and I smoke pot and these things, but no, for what I have fucking been through, uh, it's not a victim narrative. I am neurologically fucked up. Um, I've tipped past the point. There, I am disabled. Um, and like asking me to continue on in a normal fashion, without a workplace which is specifically set up in a very specific kind of way, it just wouldn't work. And I have no trust, like, in any employer after what I've been through. I would not be able to function. Like, my nervous system is shot, man. Um, no, it's done. Like, I don't need to continue. I don't need to be required to be abused. Um, what's happened in my situation is that I've been really held down by a lot of people, a lot of very sadistic people, and when you're held down like that, what it ends up happening is that you miss out on all your opportunities. You suffer constant humiliations. You have to deal with poverty, and what ends up happening is that the effects and the severity of how much they can then impact you when you are then living in poverty is terrible. Um, what will happen is they will, uh, because now you're a vulnerable person, and now you attract sadists, people who want to be able to cause negative impact and take joy in doing that, because the extent of what they can now do to you is tremendous. They can have an astronomical, they can have a terrible impact on your life. They can do all kinds of damage. Um, and the extent of how impacting that will be for you is exacerbated by the lack of protective factors which come from poverty, which is then enforced by the people who, by these same sadists who are keeping me down. That's what I've had to deal with. Um, it's been a horrific experience, and the way that my legal rights have been violated, the lack of due process, the lack of everything has been deeply traumatizing. Um, and it's not just an adverse experience. There are very few people who go through life and have this level of adverse experience. This is this, what I have been through has been truly terrible. And it's not just been the things, the stuff at the NDIS, it's been my entire life. It's been a life where I've been sort of kept at the very bottom, and it's been enforced by people. It's been a terrible, no one should have experienced the extent of the bastardization I experienced when I was 19 at the Naval College. No one should have experienced the the life altering effects of that, and then the life altering effects of all the other traumas which I've experienced, and they've all piled on top of each other, and they've all limited my opportunities, mainly because I attract people who want to abuse someone who is near the bottom or can be made to be at the bottom. And they pile on top, and the cycle perpetuates itself. This is what it is to know that you are part of a social caste, that there's like social enforcement of your station in society, and it's not based on any part of me, which is it's not based on anything which is merit based. It's based on immutable factors. It's based on being traumatized, and then the slow ball effects of that, and being abused, and again the cycle will repeat itself over and over again. And having been set up in such a way where I can never get the fruits of any of my labor, I'm never able to reap any benefit. There is what is a person going to have learnt after a life like that, right? What are they going to know in their soul? Yeah. And it's just completely insane to me how much I can have achieved and still have nothing. And it always goes back to this cycle of enforcement of terrible people, and this seems to be how society is, at least the conservative side of society is structured, because it's always the conservatives. It's almost always the conservatives. They are horrific individuals often, and it goes back to a lot of the social narratives and the need for a hierarchy. No one thinks of hierarchy and keeping people down as much as these people, and it's because having a strong moral or conservative narrative is a great thing for people to feel self-righteous about. And that self-righteousness allows people to do terrible things in the name of a set of values, and to masquerade their own sadism and their own moral failings behind this cloak of virtue. And it's just terrible. It's I like what Zizek says, where he reverses what Sartre said when Sartre said, if there is no God, then anything is permitted. And Zizek will say, well, it's actually the opposite. It's you need God for anything to be permitted. It is with ideology and a social narrative that you're able to mobilize people to do terrible atrocities in the name of something which is made out to be virtuous. The classic example in modern times would be jihad and ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and they keep changing their fucking name. They should have just rolled with what they started with. I do not support their rebranding. And yeah, but it can also be used in a religious context, like the Holy Wars and these readaptations of social stories in the Bible, because being able to say what you're doing is religious, and it's like that. It's like God is always on our side in all the wars and all the shit. Yeah. Either way, that's the rant there. But I'd say the other side of things is that people who are attracted to positions of authority, because I've had all these issues with the fucking police, they're useless pricks. Is that they're looking for they're looking for an opportunity to feel virtuous by inflicting harm on someone. Um, so it's sadism, and it's the same fucking phenomenon. It's just got a different set of social stories associated with it. I think cop TV shows are responsible for a lot of police culture in a very strange way. Um, I think it's excellent for their recruitment. At any rate, either way, that's the rant. Merry Christmas, everyone. But like, yeah, I'm properly on that tipping point, and it's inappropriate for someone to be this fucked up, to be asked to function in regular society, particularly with how little social support I have, and the extent of the abuse that I experience. Cheers.